Welcome, musicians. So today we're going to take a look at some exercises in the key of A minor. We're going to read some music. So you should see the first exercise in front of you right now. It's in the key of A minor. And just by taking a look at this exercise alone, tell me what you see. Well, you can't really tell me what you see, but notice the differences between the major exercise that you did before. I'm just going to put the major exercise on the screen right now, just so that you see what it looks like. And now I'm going to put the minor exercise in front of you. What is the difference? Well, first of all, everything is down a third. And second, there are sharps in this exercise, aren't there? So you have two sharps. One is a G sharp. We know that that's a C that usually resolves to La, and we can clearly see that in the last measure where C resolves to La. Si, La. But there's another sharp note, and you should see it in the second to last measure. And I'm just going to play the right hand. So it's an F sharp, which means Fi. And remember, I talked about the harmonic minor scale. You have La, Ti, Do, Re, Mi, Fi. It's a melodic minor scale. I talked about the melodic minor scale. La, Ti, Do, Re, Mi, Fi, Si, La, Si, Fi, Re, Do, Ti, La. So in the last two measures of this exercise, you can actually see the elements of the melodic minor scale, where you have Do, Ti, Si, Fi, Si, Si, La. And let me just play the exercise for you right now, so that you can listen to it. And that's all it is. That is the exercise. So I guess now let's work on the hands separately. And let's start with the bass, because it seems to be the easiest part. You have La, which is all the way down here. This is middle C. So this La is like a third below middle C and then an octave below. So it's a tenth below middle C. You have La in the first measure. Pretty simple. All 4 beats. Then you have the next measure, which is 2 beats, is Mi, which is the dominant of A minor. Right? Remember we talked about the tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, and subtonic in minor, Sol. But here we have the tonic and the dominant. So the first scale degree and the 5th scale degree, and then the first scale degree. Tonic, dominant, tonic. So we have the tonic in minor, which is A, in A minor. The first measure, all 4 beats, is the A. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the second measure you have Mi, which is the dominant, for 2 beats, and then 2 beats, back to the tonic, and then you have the subdominant, and then you have the supertonic, and then back to the dominant, in measure 4. So you have La, Mi, La, Fa, no, Re, Ti, Mi, yeah, La, Mi, La, Re, Ti, Mi. That's the first line of the bass. So now let's take a look at the second line of the bass. La, Fa, Re, Ti. So you have the tonic, submediant, then subdominant, then supertonic, which also means the first scale degree, the sixth scale degree, the fourth scale degree, and the second scale degree. La, fa, re, ti. And back to the dominant. Mi, re, do. Just goes down, mi, re, do, which were the first three notes that we looked at in major, actually, in C major. Okay, so let's try to play the whole bass line right now with a metronome. 2, 3, 4. La, mi, la, re, ti, mi, That's it. That's the bass. Okay, now let's take a look at the top part. You have la, ti, do, all going in seconds. So all by step. La, ti, do, re, do, ti, do. All still seconds, and then it's down to third from do to la. So the tonic, the supertonic, the mediant, the subdominant, mediant, supertonic, mediant, and tonic. La, ti, do, re, do, ti, do, la, fa. La, ti, do, re, mi, fa. So that's a sixth. What kind of sixth is it? Between la and fa. That's a minor sixth. Fa, mi, re, do, ti. All going down by step. Do, la, outlining a minor third. Up a second, ti. And that's the first four measures of the top line. Let's sing them. 1, 2, 3, 4. La, ti, do, re, do, ti, do, la, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, la, ti. And that's it. Let's take a look at the next four measures. So beginning at measure 5. Do, re, fa. Do, re, fa. Between re and fa, that's a minor third. And as you can see, 2 spaces. Re, fa, fa, ti. That's the tritone. The leap of a tritone. Do, re, fa, ti. Measure 6. Ti, do, ti, la, fa. Ti, do, ti, la, fa. Measure 7. Do, ti, si, fi, si. Do, ti, si, fi, si. So if we didn't have those sharps, it would sound like. And the sharps add color to the last 2 measures. And that's the top line. Do, ti, si, fi, si, si, la. And now we have both the bass and the right hand figured out. So we can put them together now. Actually, let's sing the whole right hand first. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And la. re, fa, ti, do, ti, la, fa, do, ti, si, fi, si, si, la. That's it. And those were both of the lines. So now let's put them together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, do, re, do, ti, do, la, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, la, ti, do, re, fa, ti, do, ti, la, fa, do, ti, si, fi, si, si, la. Okay. So now let's do the same thing, but this time sing the bass of the solfa of the bass. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and la, mi, la, re, ti, la, fa, re, ti, mi, re, do. And that's it. So if you can do those things, that's great. If for some reason there are elements that you don't understand or don't get, that is fine. These exercises are meant to help you sort of familiarize yourself with the key of A minor. And there's no reason to understand absolutely everything and every little concept. You will have 24 chances to get those right with all of the keys that we're learning. So if you don't get it on the first 6, don't worry about it. You should be able to get this by the time that we're finished with all the keys. And then you could go over all of those exercises once again, just to solidify them once you've had enough practice with all of the keys. Okay, let's move on to exercise number 2 now. So here's exercise number 2. Once again, take a look at the sharps. Basically, the only sharp that you have here is the G sharp. You don't have an F sharp anymore, just like the one that you saw in the previous exercise. But let's take a look at the bass now. You have, in the first measure, La, so beginning with the same note. La, down to Mi, La, Mi, La. That's all it is for the first 3 bars. And okay, and then it's Re, Ti, Mi, Si. So the first line of the bass is pretty simple. La, Mi, La, Mi, La, Re, Ti, Mi, Si. So you have the tonic, dominant, tonic, dominant, tonic, then down to subdominant, and down to supertonic. And back to the dominant. C is not the subtonic, it's like the leading tone of A minor, because it wants to resolve to A. And then you have measure 5, starts with Fa, Mi, back to the dominant. So it's measure 5 starts with the submediant. So the 6th scale degree, and then down to the 5th scale degree, the dominant, and then back to the tonic in measure 6, and back to the dominant on the 2nd part of measure 6. Measure 7 is the same as measure 3. And then mi, si, la. So let's review measures 5 to 8. Fa, mi, la, re, ti, mi, si, la. That's all it is. Okay, and now let's take a look at the top part, the right hand. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's la, si, la, ti, do, re, do, ti. That's the first 2 bars. And then the second 2 bars are mi, re, do, fa, mi, do, ti, re, do, ti. That's all it is. And measure 5. La, sol, la, ti, do, re, do, ti. Measure 7. Mi, re, do, fa, si, la, do, ti, la. So just like in the measure, in the previous exercise in major, we have in the last measure the rhythm 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So it really helps if you subdivide in each beat into 4 parts, 1 E and a, because that tells you how long to play the second note and how long to play the third note. 1 E and a, so it's 2 E and a, 2 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. That's the last measure. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay. So now let me just play you the whole exercise just so that you know how it sounds. I won't use the metronome, and I'll play it a little faster. And now let's play it together with the metronome. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and la, si, la, ti, do, re, do, ti, mi, re, do, fa, mi, do, ti, re, do, ti. La, sol, la, ti, do, re, do, ti, mi, re, do, fa, si, la, do, ti, la. So remember to subdivide that last measure in your head. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, now let's sing the solfa of the bass while playing the same thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and la, mi, la, mi, la, re, this is why musicians never have brain problems. Okay, so there you go. That was exercise number 2, and let's take a look at exercise number 3, the last exercise. Alright, so we have, if you can remember the major exercise for this exercise, it was something like this. But now this one is in minor, and once again you see the G sharp, which tells you that's the C resolving to La. It wants that resolution in the last 2 bars. Okay, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the bass line first. Once again, you have La, La, La. So it goes in 3. It's the exercise in 3/4. 1, 2, 3. So let's sing the bass line. 1, 2, 3. As you can see, it all goes down by step. So you have La, Sol, Fa, Mi, Re, Do. And then it goes up. Re, Mi. So pretty simple bass line. It just goes down by step. No leaps at all. And then, beginning at measure 9, the bass line continues, and there is one leap. La, Mi. So the leap from the tonic to the dominant, it's a very common leap in music, so it's a good one to remember. La, Mi, Re, Do, Re, Mi, Mi, and then leap from the dominant to the tonic is also very common. Mi, La. And that's it. That's the bass. So, fairly straightforward. Everything is stepwise. The rhythms are very simple. It's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Fairly simple. Now the right hand is a little bit trickier, but it's not as bad as you think. So let's take a look at the right hand now. You have the first measure beginning with Do. Second measure is Ti, Mi, Do. Third measure is Ti. Fourth measure Do, Mi, La. Fifth measure Fa. Sixth measure Mi, Re, Do. Seventh measure Ti, Do. Eighth measure Ti. And then the ninth measure, back to Do, Do. 10th, Ti, Mi, Do. 11th, Ti. 12th, Do, Mi, La. 13th, Fa, Mi, Do. 14th, Ti, La, Si. 15th, Si. And 16th, La. So pretty straightforward. Make sure to note where the leaps are and where the steps are. Very important. Okay, so let's practice playing the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. Do. Measure 9. Do, ti, mi, do, ti. Do, mi, la, let's take a look at both hands together. Remember, the bass just follows stepwise motion, so it's really simple. Remember where it stops. It goes from here to here, basically. Okay, so let's do both of them. 1 and 2 and 3 and do, ti, mi, do, ti, do, That's it. And now let's do the same thing with the bass, just singing the bass. 1 and 2 and 3 and la, sol, fa, mi, and that's it. So there you go. You have just done 3 exercises in the key of A minor. So once again, you probably noticed that in the key of minor, there are sharps, first of all. And there's another common similarity, is that the pieces start with La and end with La, right? They start with A and end with A in some way. So the first exercise started with literally this, both A's. The second exercise, and by the way, the first exercise ended with Si, La, going to La. So, and there were also sharps in the first exercise. So what is the difference between major and minor? A major key, for example C major, starts with C's and ends with C's. Now the minor starts with A's and it has a lot of sharps in it. Specifically G sharps, and sometimes you have F sharps to make it a Fi. Fi, Si, La. So if we erase the sharp and the Fi, you have Fa. And so that's the difference between minor and major. you have the second exercise, which starts with La once again. And the last measure ends with La's once again. Now the third exercise we've just done starts with La and ends with La's once again. So that's how you know that an exercise is in minor. So if you see a key signature with no accidentals, such as right here, there are no accidentals here, and by looking at this you know that this piece must be either in C major or A minor. And how do you know that the piece is specifically in minor, for instance? You look at this throughout the piece. Are there G sharps? If there are, the piece is probably in minor. Also, how does the piece start and how does it end? If it starts with A's and ends with A's or La, then you know, it must be A minor. But if the piece starts with C's and it doesn't have any accidentals and ends with C's, then you know, it must be major. So there's a little trick that you can use to tell you whether the piece is in major or in minor. And of course you would have to know the key signatures of all of the major and minor keys to make that come to that conclusion, but so far we know two. We know F sharp major, we know D sharp minor, we know C major, and we know A minor. We know 4 keys already. And in the next video we will learn the 5th key. And I will see you in that video.